and Christian Peck-Dimit.
Do you want to keep this job? Shut up, listen, learn.
The region's only local sports talk show, discussing it all from the preps to the pros.
What time is it? Game time!
Simulcasting on AM 730 Fox Sports Tri-State, streaming online at nwksradio.net and the Rockingham app.
They are everywhere.
The Blitz is presented by the Insurance Agency, the Farmers State Bank in Oakley, the Cowboy Corner Express, and Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell.
Stop what you're doing and listen.
Belts into right center field, and that is going to go all the way to the wall. Isbell scores to tie it. Junior scores to put the Royals in front.
Shot clock down to 5. White trapped in the front court. Trying to shake. Merrill stops on a dime. And his brilliance has been incredible.
Rebound. Leaks to the outside. Tracked down. Wallace. He's got speed. Euro. On the rock attack.
Oh, finally, he clears. Miles Wood in space. He's got some speed. Wood towards the net. He scores! Reach for the sky! The comeback is complete!
Now, the comeback's complete in some sort of way. Hey, good Wednesday morning, everybody. Ross Volkmer's back. We know about that. Hope everyone's having a good start to your week on this Wednesday. We're already halfway through it. My goodness, what a week from absolute HE double hockey sticks for yours truly, Christian. My goodness. I could go on the whole first segment about how this week has been just an absolute turd, to say the absolute minimal of it. But
give us a little sneak peek.
I'll try to give you the Cliff Notes version as best I possibly can. So everything's going fine. Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, wife gets sick. Sunday night, so then my wife is pretty much out the entire week, entire all day Sunday and a good portion of Monday. I get sick starting Sunday night. I'm sick through Monday, feeling better Monday night. I probably could have came back to the show on Tuesday, but kid number 1 is sick is sick starting Monday afternoon. And so like, well, I better be able to stay home and watch the kids, just be safe, something like that. And so anyway, so I stay home yesterday with all 3 kids to make sure that nobody gets sick. Just to make sure that nobody gets sick. We go to bed. No one threw up. No one got sick. Everyone was just fine yesterday. We go to bed. I wake up this morning. I had a great night's sleep for the first time in probably 3 or 4 nights. I'm like, here we go. We're going to get a good day in today. I'm feeling good, charging. I'm in the bathroom getting ready. All of a sudden, I hear my wife yell from the bedroom, no, because our daughter had crawled into our bed and started you-know-whatting an entire day of that. You have got to be. And you know what happened? You know what happened the day before? Yesterday while I was at home? I washed my sheets. So my clean sheets just got destroyed again this morning.
Was this an unloading of the front end or the back end?
It was the front end.
Okay.
So it doesn't matter. Unloading, no matter where it comes from, is terrible. Oh my gosh. I'm so sick of being sick. I can't stand it anymore. I'm so sick of sickness. It drives me nuts. And the thing that probably just, I get it if you're still sick. I get that. But the problem was we went the whole day yesterday. You couldn't have told me that my children were sick. You couldn't have told me anything. They were perfectly fine. And then this morning, here we go. You've got to be kidding me. That is the type of week I am having, people. It is unbelievable. I cannot believe the type of week that I'm having. It is driving me absolutely nuts. Absolutely nuts. So I'm sorry for that. Hopefully that was enough Cliff Notes and not too much information there. Just absolutely horrible.
No,
the stomach bug is like the worst bug you can get. It is like the worst bug you can get. I mean, I remember I was, it was early Monday morning, and I'm thinking, this is awful. Just absolutely awful. So anyway, that's where I have been. I have been dealing with stomach bug going through my house. It has been absolutely terrible. I cannot wait until this week from HE double hockey sticks is over because this has been terrible. I have absolutely disliked it, but I am back. Finally, I'm back for at least an hour here. I'll at least get an hour reprieve away from the sickness today, and I'm going to take that as a positive. So how are you doing? How are you holding up?
Doing good. I'm not going to lie. I heard, I think it was late Sunday night when you first texted like this might get ugly in the Volkmer house.
That's right.
I was just, my mind immediately went to the fact that between the remote broadcast that we did in Goodland and the Aaron Watson concert,
and that we were together at times, you're thinking,
both you and Janessa had been dangerously close to me this weekend, and I was just, oh man, I was like, this could get extra ugly. Thankfully, we are okay, and it was a bit of a slow news day Monday night, so I think we had maybe more to talk about Monday than Tuesday, but I think held the show down all right. I guess it would be the listeners that would know that better than me, but glad to have Mr. Volkmer back.
Well, I'm glad to be back. Full show ahead today. Ryan Carter is going to stop by the program, Colby Community College baseball head coach and, of course, good friend of the program, because postseason play begins tomorrow for Colby Community College baseball. They're on the road at Cowley County in the 3-14 matchup, so they will have they'll have a tough series ahead. You got to win your first 3-game series in order to advance into the tournament, which is then played in Wichita's X Stadium where Wichita State plays. But you got to win the first series, and that'll be a tall task for a Colby Trojan team who had a great stretch there for about a week to 10 days, then kind of had a tough finish again. We will visit with Ryan Carter about that coming up here in about 15 to 20 minutes or so. We will try to, if we have some time, since we spent so much time talking about what the Volkmer household had going on, we'll see if we get into an interesting story I saw on CBSSports.com talking about a new type of basketball tournament that makes me sick again. But hey, this is the future. This is the future we're moving to, I think. A familiar face is on. It's been added by Tad Boyle at Colorado for Colorado men's basketball. Thought that was quite interesting. We'll get to that coming up as well. But yesterday was a day of baseball. They were to play some baseball. That's also maybe a little bit sick yesterday is that, I had to stay. I was staying home watching kids, which I'm fine with. I understand that. But then I was going to go do some Goodland baseball, but didn't get the chance to do that because, once again, just trying to be a good dad. And so yesterday, Goodland baseball and Colby High School softball wrapped up their regular seasons. Not Goodland baseball. I think they still maybe have 2 more games left on a Thursday against Ray, possibly. They just won't count towards the overall record because the regional brackets are already out. We'll get to that in just a minute as well. But Goodland baseball and Colby High School softball concluded, at least wrapped up a couple series yesterday, and both went 0-2. Goodland baseball lost down at Ulysses. Game 1 got down by 4 runs after just 2 innings, and then were able to charge back, but still ended up losing 7-6. Just came up a bit short on that comeback. Game 2, offense was missing. They only had 2 hits and were beaten 10-0 in just 5 innings by the Tigers. And so with that sweep, the Cowboys finished GWAC League play 3-9 overall, 3-9 in GWAC League play, and they're 3-15 overall. Like I said, I don't know for sure. I'll have to double check with Marty Lee. Maybe he's listening right now, but I don't know if they're going to play make those Ray games up. I've heard rumors it might be Thursday. They might not make those games up. So I'll have to see if that's going to happen or not. I have not heard the official word on that to get to their 20 games that they like to get to in the regular season. But then Colby softball wrapped with the regular season. They were swept by Holcomb. Not a humongous surprise there. Holcomb's the GWAC winner and going to be the number 1 overall seed in both softball and baseball. Holcomb won 6-0 and 6-1. Which, by the way, those 2 losses ended a 6-game winning streak for the Colby Lady Eagles. And so they finished their regular season 12-8 overall. They finished 6-6 in GWAC games as they get set to head into the postseason. So that was the yesterday's local sports. And like I said, the regional brackets are out for baseball. And so that was the news I saw yesterday as well. So the way it works, Christian, is that by a certain point in time on a date on a calendar, you have to have so many games in that. Then that's going to count towards your record that's going to seed you in the bracket. And so that date is passed, and the regional assignments and the brackets are out. And for the Russell Regional, you have Holcomb being the number 1 seed, who will take on the 8 seed Goodland. On Friday, you've got Hoisington Central Plains, the 4 seed, and the 5 seed Russell Victoria. Colby is the 2 seed at 12-8. They'll take on the 7 seed Southwestern Heights. And then the 3-6 game is Cimarron Ingalls versus Lakin. And those are all scheduled to start on Friday, either at 5 Central or 6 Central time, depending on the location. But postseason baseball is upon us. Regional softball brackets have not been released yet from what I've seen. They still have, I think, another day. I think maybe the final days today before those brackets have to get in, or those records have to get in, I think.
That's sort of what I was going to ask you about. I know you weren't here on Monday. We did go over that regional bracket. Colby baseball, a winner of the weekend for sliding into that 2 seed. But then teams still had games left after that. Is that sort of something that happens every year where the bracket comes out with games still on the docket for a lot of teams?
Yeah, because like I said, there's a set date. And every year it kind of changes. Some it's a little bit different, but they want to make sure they give them. I think it's because they have to give you like a week to like a week ahead of the postseason start. So because the postseason is set to start on the 10th, so the 3rd would have been the last day to get games in that count towards your overall record for regionals. So there's a set date. So yesterday probably was the last day for softball to get their records all the way in. That was probably because it's a week. So next Tuesday is when the softball postseason begins. So that's what's going to happen. So that's why that is. I believe, if I'm not 110% sure on that, but I'm pretty sure that's correct. A week prior to when the postseason begins is the final day to get games in so that you can then they have time to put the bracket together. Then they build it, which I don't know. It seems like it's a lot of extra time, but hey, that's the rules and they're going to roll with it. And so, if you look at Colby, you get a great draw in the first round. You don't have to go anywhere. You get to stay home. You get to host Southwestern Heights, which is the 7th seed. That's a win. And then you've got Cimarron and Lakin sitting there in the 3-6 game. If you're able to win that first game, and you got to like your chances there. I believe I don't know if they swept Cimarron earlier this year, or if they split with Cimarron Ingalls. I believe, I forget what they did against Lakin, but I'll have to go back and look that up. But they had. I would think that they had pretty solid showings against both those teams. You got to like your chances on that side of the bracket. And honestly, it's kind of a 2 to 3 horse race when you look at that. Which I don't like to throw any team under the bus. Like I've said before, I've seen many teams with sub 500 records to have a great run in the postseason and make it. I don't want to say they're completely out of it. They're not. But if you're just looking at it, they have. Everybody's got a chance. That's the best part about the postseason. In the high school sports, you have a chance if you put it all together. But if you're just looking at overall, you got to think Holcomb is the favorite. And then you've got, probably Colby and Central Plains and Cimarron Ingalls around there as well.
Believe it or not, the Eagles split against Lakin, the 6th seed, but they did sweep, like you said, Cimarron, that 3 seed. And it really is a great draw for Colby because in terms of games that count, we talked about this on Monday. Cimarron Ingalls 12-8, Hoisington Central Plains 11-9, Colby also 12-8, and it was because of that sweep that it gave them the tiebreaker over Cimarron and thus the 2 seed. But it was a very tight race in between getting basically the best possible draw for Colby versus, if they had lost one more game, they could potentially be sitting with a second round matchup against Holcomb.
Like I said, we're gonna see a lot of things. That the thing about baseball in particular postseason that's interesting is just how it all works because of the pitch count. The pitch count deal has made things extremely interesting. It's a good rule. I'm not against it. It's made things interesting. You have to know how to throw your pitchers in certain situations. If you have a really good pitcher, you always think, well, boy, I really want to save my best pitcher, for the big game so that we can get, so that we can have a chance to go to state or whatever it may be. But I remember a prime example is Holcomb. They had a great pitcher a few years ago named Connor Van Cleve, who went on to play for Kansas, by the way. And he was really good. And he was a stud, but he could also hit it too. He ended up being, I think, a first baseman there at KU. But anyway, he was That was the deal. Like they didn't know how to handle it because they had him. He was amazing. Everyone else was just okay. And so they would say, well, we're going to save him for the second game or for the championship. Well, then they get beat in the semifinals or something. That's the way it kind of went for them for many years. Now, that one year they did make it, they did end up taking state, that he did get there and get it done. But there was years where they didn't get it done. And so that's the thing. How do you work your pitching with this pitch count? That can be a big deal. And, it all really comes down to who shows up that day and has the better game. It could be the team, of course, that has the record and like, well, that wasn't a surprise, or it could be a team that has just a couple of wins on the season and they can win it too. That's the thing about this postseason baseball that I've seen more than I could count. Teams that you're like, wow, they won that game. Hey, you know what? That's what happened. Which, once again, it goes back to the point, and I'm sure I'll hit on this again on Friday, as I am planning, God willing, to be covering Colt Goodland baseball on the road at Holcomb on Friday for the first round of the postseason. That is my hopeful to be there. But that's the thing. It does not matter what you did in the regular season if you can put it together for 3 games, if you can just put it together. So if you're a team like Goodland, which this year has been, I'm sure in some people's minds, unbelievable and hard to fathom with the players that they brought back and who they returned. I'm sure this year has been hard to believe that they only had 3 wins. And I guarantee Holcomb's sitting there thinking, hey, you know what? This is a horrible first round game for us because we're going to have to go up against one of the better pitchers in the state in 3A. And it's going to be a challenge. The question is, can Goodland provide some offensive firepower behind that? That's going to be the big thing. So we'll see. And as like I said, for Colby, I think you got to feel really good about your chances.
Right.
Like I said, you've got Southwestern Heights. You got to like your chances there. Cimarron Ingalls and Lakin. Yeah. If you don't show up and play great, but you've swept Cimarron Ingalls. You lost a game to Lakin, which should be a bit of a wake-up call a little bit. So you got to feel pretty good about your chances, at least making it possibly to the finals, possibly. I think you got to like your chances if you're Colby sitting here on this Wednesday. So
I agree.
We'll see how it all shakes out. But there's a little bit look at the baseball from side of things yesterday. Once again, Goodland swept down at Ulysses. Colby softball wrapping up their regular season. They were swept at home by Holcomb. So they took the losses there. Boy, heartbreak last night. Boy, did you happen to see what happened last night to the Royals? By the way,
that was tough.
I love when I find the winning call. And this was the Milwaukee Brewers radio call last night with the Royals losing 6-5. How about this? James MacArthur. So Royals are leading 6-4. 6-4 in the top of the 9th inning. James MacArthur comes in, gets 2 quick outs. Everyone's starting to pack up the bags. Let's head home. All of a sudden, a double, a walk, and then this.
Here's the pitch. Breaking ball hammered out to left. Back goes Hampson at the track. Wall gone! Willie Adames flips this game on its head. The Brewers take a 6-5 lead in the 9th. It had to be Willie Adames. His 7th home run of the season. And is it a big one here at Kauffman Stadium. 6-5 Milwaukee.
Lane Grendel on the call there for Milwaukee Brewers Radio. That was, like I said, think about it. If you're the Royals, like, oh, we got this in the bag. We're up 2 runs. We got 2 outs. Double. We're okay. A walk. Well, we just need another ground out. We're going to be all right. We're just going to pop out. And then, yeah, watching it leave the yard. That is heartbreak last night there for the Royals. Oh, heartbreak.
That is the epitome of heartbreak. That is so tough. In the nicest way possible, I turned this game off. I did.
You packed it up.
I think it was like the middle of the 8th inning, or maybe the middle of the 7th. I was like, all right, nice. And it wasn't completely, I had other things to do. It wasn't completely, hey, the Royals have this in the bag. But that definitely contributed to Christian turning this game off. Oh, that is very tough. That is a tough way to lose, especially when you put up 5 runs on 12 hits and really started this game not so great and sort of eased into it. And it felt like we talked about this yesterday. The Royals had won by 1 run yesterday, but before that had lost their previous 3 games that were decided by 3 or fewer runs, and all of those 3 games were 1-run games. They had lost all of their recent close games where it was sort of a struggle, and they went into the final innings with a tight one. And we talked about this is a big deal for them to sort of take that step forward with sort of a couple of weeks here looming that are big for this team, that as the AL Central sort of starts to peter. As of yesterday, 4 of the 5 teams had 5-5 records in their last 10 games. As that starts to happen, all of the other teams in the division have pretty easy schedules coming up. The Royals, not so much, but they don't have such a difficult schedule that they can't take advantage of it. So I think if they can weather this storm, and this is what I said yesterday, these next 2 to 3 weeks are a nice turning point in their season for the Royals to just get through it. And if they can not do it in such ugly fashion like they did last night, they'll be okay. This is not a great start to to that sequence of games here. Seth Lugo I'm not going to say he got shelled. He still ended up playing 6 2/3 innings, but he didn't look as good as he usually has this year. The bullpen was sort of back to its early season
woes.
Splendor. Yeah.
Oh, splendor.
Woes. I was going to be sarcastic, but
thing.
yeah, it's woes.
I think, once again, I'm not going to put a whole lot of blame on Seth Lugo. I mean, that's a guy who's got a top 3 ERA as a starting pitcher in all of Major League Baseball.
But he wasn't great last night. He was good, not great.
Yet they had a 2-run lead going into the 9th.
I know.
And I don't know what else you want. There's Seth Lugo's not even in the conversation. James MacArthur was a nice pickup for the Royals. I think they traded for him. I think he was at the Phillies. I think that's where he was. He was somewhere, but he was really not getting a whole lot of action. And then he comes to the Royals to be the closer after, the previous attempt to get a closer in there was not great. So they went with James MacArthur, and he has been good. That was kind of his first little hiccup. I feel like maybe his first or second hiccup of the season. It hasn't been that many. He's been pretty solid. But there's no doubt if the Royals can find a way to stay on the pace that they're on right now, whereas they continue to win some series and kind of hang around, and they're going to be buyers at the trade deadline. If they're going to be in that situation, you look for them to probably go out there and find a guy that's a little bit more prepared for that bigger reach, I guess is the way I would put it. That's how I guess I would word it, is that they're going to go out and look for a guy that's going to be able to take those higher leverage innings and be a little bit more, hopefully they can find a closer somewhere that has that experience. They're going to get that, because that will help them a lot. It will help them a ton. But I feel like they're a piece or two away from being more consistent. But last night it was just, it happens. It's baseball. That's what most people would say. It's baseball. It happens. And that's okay. That's the way it's going to be. Real quick before we get to Ryan Carter, though, also last night in the world of Colorado sports, it was a bad night for the Rockies. 4 measly singles and a 5-0 loss. I watched some of the game. It was typical Colorado baseball, pretty boring, and a 5-0 loss. But if you stayed up late enough, you saw the Avalanche storm back from a 3-0 deficit to win in overtime 4-3 over the Dallas Stars and take a 1-0 lead in that series, which you heard the call there, reach for the sky. That was the winner of the call there on the altitude 92.5 FM. That was good. So it wasn't all bad last night for our Denver fans, but it was rough.
Denver fans are having a rough week.
Yeah,
just in general.
Yeah, luckily the Nuggets don't play again until Friday, so they can hopefully breathe a little bit, because
they'll have Jamal Murray.
They took it in the shorts. Yeah, that was big news that he only got fined and not suspended. I honestly am shocked. Honestly, here's my thought. I thought he should have been suspended. I was shocked that he wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a break for the Nuggets on that front. But I could see the NBA. I could see the NBA saying, "Well, we don't want to lose one of their better players out to appointment television. Don't want to lose that. So let's just fine him a lot of money." I could see the NBA doing that.
It's hard to think that it wasn't the NBA or the front office at least a little bit influenced by the can't have a primetime guy out in primetime. $100,000 fine. And I think it was Jay Wright who put it best when it was like, he shot 3 of 18 that night. He shot 3 of 19. Apparently he was throwing it at the referee, missed pretty badly. He could have, and he was in credit to how bad Murray was in game 2. If he had missed by just a little bit more, about 6 or 8 inches, Cat steps on that coming down from the layup, blows out his ACL, and then Jamal Murray doesn't see the court for the rest of the playoffs. It's like a Rashee Rice thing by no fault of his own. It ended up being best case scenario for him by a small margin.
Yeah. We'll see what happens. Yeah, Rashee Rice back in the news. Who knows? He may not play for Kansas City next year at the pace he's on. I don't know what he's doing. He just continues to do some bonehead things. If you haven't heard Rashee Rice, by the way, back in the police spotlight after hitting a photographer at a Dallas club. Stay away from the clubs. Don't go to the clubs. Don't go driving. Just stay home. Lock yourself in your house, Rashee. Lock yourself in your house.
Not just Rashee. If you are a first-round picked receiver in the NFL that's having great success in your first few years, buy a driver. Get someone to drive you around. Don't touch the wheel of a car. In fact, don't touch anyone else's face other than your own, especially not with a closed fist. What an idiot. Tanking his career. And I'm not saying that he can't come back and still have a great career. But yeah, not exactly you blame almost the people around him just as much as him, that now that he's made it big, that he's still going out to clubs and racing in crowded inner city highways. Yeah. He'll be a Raider. Text line. Thank you, Michael. Text line says he'll be a Raider soon.
Could be. As always, hit us up on the text line at 785-899-2222. Of course, you can chime in as well on the live stream. Of course, live streaming on Facebook, Twitter, as well as YouTube. All right, we're going to get to a break. We're way past due as we usually are in the first segment. Ryan Carter's going to join us next and talk with him about Colby Community College baseball as the postseason is set to begin for them. Tomorrow, you're listening to the Morning Blitz.
Hi, we're Comparion Insurance Agency. Never heard of us? We know. But to help it stick that our local agents are insurance experts, we're going to say local agent 3 times in the next 5 seconds. Local agent, local agent, local agent.
Find us at ComparionInsurance.com.
You're going to feel a puff of air.
Jong's Optometry has set their sights on staffing up.
Try the next line. Hey, Kim, can you tell our 2 o'clock we're running 15 behind? Sorry, we're a bit backed up today.
He needs an optometric technician to keep an eye on it all.
Where are the dilation drops?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Brought to you by Navage. Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
Good morning. This is Kate Thompson with the Anderson's Trade Group. Today is Wednesday, May 8th. And on the overnights last night, July corn traded lower 2 3/4 at $4.64 1/4. September down 2 3/4 at $4.73 3/4. December down 2 1/4 at $4.86 1/4. And March corn down 2 1/4 at $4.98. July soybeans traded lower 7 on the overnights at $12.39 1/4. August down 8 1/4 at $12.37 1/4. September down 8 1/4 at $12.21 1/4. And November beans down 8 at $12.20. Soft wheat on the overnights, July contract traded lower 8 at $6.34 3/4. September down 7 3/4 at $6.56. December down 7 1/2 at $6.81 1/2. And March soft wheat down 7 at $7.01. Kansas City wheat, the July contract lowered 10 3/4 at $6.53 1/4. September down 10 3/4 at $6.65 1/2. December down 10 1/4 at $6.86 1/4. March hard wheat down 9 1/2 at $7.03. The stock market this morning, the Dow down $78 at 38,949. The S&P down 21 at 5,192. NASDAQ down 111 at 18,088. Gold lower $1.30 an ounce at 2,322. And crude oil down 79 cents a barrel at 77.59. If you have any questions about marketing grain, or would like to talk about risk management options, or in our Kansas City office, myself, Tom Saludo, Jared Law, or Tyler Dosh at 913-748-3000.
Today, we're talking with aphids and whiteflies about Safina insecticide from BASF.
We just got nailed with it.
So tell us, how you feeling?
Really, really weird.
And you still want to devour this field?
No way, bro.
There you have it, folks. Safina insecticide is specifically engineered to disorient aphids and whiteflies so they can't eat. And when they can't eat, they can't destroy.
Help protect your sorghum from aphids with Safina insecticide. Always read and follow label directions.
At Case IH, we know you work hard all year to maximize your yield at harvest. And to do that, you need a combine that works as hard as you do. That's why we built the new AF11 with more horsepower, more efficiency, and more capacity than any other combine out there. Plus, built-in automation to harvest more easily than ever before. To do more with every engine hour, you need equipment that's as good as you are. You need the best in your field. Visit your local Case IH dealer for more on the AF11.
There are a lot of inconsistencies when growing soybeans. The soil, the weather, the market. You need something you can count on.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail.
BASF.
The person you're trying to
Consistently
reach is
outyields
not
other
available.
fungicides by
At the
up to
tone,
9.5
please
bushels
record
per
your
acre.
message.
Consistently
When you have
wins
finished
in on-farm
recording, you may
head-to-head
hang up.
comparisons, and consistently makes for happy farmers. Revitech fungicide. Visit revxfields.com for full results. Always read and follow label directions. Yield data based on summary of 2019 through 2022 Revex field scale demonstration trials.
If your vehicle's tires are tired out, well, get tired up at Great Western Tire, where they have tire pros that know how to equip your rig with the tread and the type of tire for the way you drive. Great Western Tire carries name brands like Goodyear and take advantage of tire specials for tractors, trucks, SUVs, cars, and ATVs. Tires for your entire operation at Great Western Tire of Oakley, Colby, Hoxie, Scotts.
Coach, can you hear me?
Volume with big discounts, which means big savings to you.
Hey, it's Brian Haney, the voice of the Jayhawks.
A two-hand follow jam is true for Josh Jackson.
And you're listening to the Morning Blitz with my main man, Ross Volkmer, right here on 102.5 You Rock.
Continuing here on a Wednesday morning here on the Morning Blitz. It's been that kind of week for yours truly. So I'm just hoping and praying that Coach Ryan Carter can hear me and he'll be on the phone with us. So good morning, Coach. Are you there with us? Coach, can you hear me at all? Now, what is that, Christian? Can you even hear me?
Can hear you. No,
Oh
no,
my
Coach Carter, no.
goodness. What a day.
You know
what
what?
a day this has been.
It's that kind of week.
It's already semi sort of a train wreck already, it seems like, here today. I don't know why. Anyway, can you
say that out loud? No, it's
I
probably
don't know.
to throw
I don't know.
all
I don't even know if can you hear Coach on the other end? I can't hear him either. Coach
Joey?
Carter, Coach, are you there?
Yep, nothing.
Okay. Well, I don't know why that is. I will try to get him on the phone here. I apologize about this. It's just been that kind of week. It really truly has been.
You know what? If the next time you wake up, anyone listening out here also, the next time anyone here listening right now, whether it's on the stream or on the radio, on NWKS radio website, wherever you're doing it, even in the app, lots of ways to listen. If you wake up with throw up in your bed and it's not yours, just take the day off. Just stay home.
Problem is, I already took 2 days. I can't do anymore. Can't do anymore. My gosh. Oh, man. I'll see if we can get him on here in a minute. This has just been a train wreck of a day so far. It really, truly has been. Just want to say thank you. Just thank you so much for thank you, Stomach Bug. This week's show sponsored by the Stomach Bug.
We're trying to get Coach Ryan Carter on from Colby Community College baseball. They finished this season the 14 seed, and they've got the postseason sort of on the horizon here, meaning not even on the horizon. That implies it's going to be a long way off. They're starting tomorrow, and they've got sort of a tough game on the docket here. Obviously, as the 14 seed, we've talked about the injuries that they've had, especially to their pitching staff. What that's done for them this season record-wise hasn't been maybe as pretty as they would have liked or thought, especially after their fall ball season was pretty successful. They've got a number 3 seed Cowley on the docket, and then potentially, should they upset Cowley, it would be a May 15th, that's next Wednesday, matchup with either Dodge City, the 6 seed, or Coffeyville, the 11 seed. That's a 10 a.m. start for the next Wednesday game, potentially.
I think Coach Carter's here now. Coach, are you here with us, please?
Yeah, I was wondering if I'm the 10th caller for the concert.
The 10th caller. Well, if you've been listening to the show, it's just been a train wreck of a day for yours truly. So I apologize for that technical difficulties there. How are we doing today?
Well, we're doing good, and I don't ever wish bad on anybody, but sometimes I want to even the playing field. I'm teasing. How are things with you today?
Oh, we're doing all right. I've had better days. Yeah. The stomach bug has been going through my household, so I've been dealing with that for now. What is going to be going on day number 4 today? So it's just been a lot of fun. As a dad, what that can be like at times.
Yep. All I can say is the days are long and the years are short.
No, that's true. The days are long and the years are short. That is exactly right. I could not agree with that more, even though I'm only into year number 4 of fatherhood, but I could not agree more with that statement. That is an absolute fact. But thank you so much for joining us today, Coach. Really appreciate it.
Yep.
Boy, we're already at the postseason. Talk about the days being long and the year being short. This feel like this season just kind of went by in a blur, at least from my perspective.
It just keeps it's like Father Time starts out at a certain pace, and it just keeps getting faster the older you get, right? And it's when I first started coaching, it seemed like sometimes the season would never end, and now it's and maybe that's just because when you still love what you're doing, you look up and the year's over already, and we've got we're guaranteed. I told our guys we're guaranteed 2 more games, and then we see what fate brings us after that.
I want to go back to middle of April. We had you on maybe a week or so before, early April, and then the middle of April came and you guys found something. You were able to go on and, win a series against Pratt. You were able to win a couple games against McCook. You took a couple games against Seward. What happened during that stretch where you guys maybe had your best stretch of the season?
I just think our guys started playing a little bit more on what we thought they were. We got better starting pitching, that's for sure. That really helps. We were able to have our starters go 5 or 6 innings, and that really, really helps when you don't have a lot of depth in the bullpen. So it helps even that out. And we got some really big hits, and it's just you can't keep you can't keep a good team down forever. And I'm not saying we're a good team. We're not a great team, but we're a good team. And, the guys still believe. So I just think that in baseball, the laws of averages over the course of an extended period of time, things start to even themselves out. And now if we were to be able to get another 30 or 40 games, I think that, we would be able to continue on this little run. But, that's not the way it goes. You gotta, play the games that you're given. And, if you're just not playing well, you just got to take your medicine.
How do you go about capturing that part of the season and applying it to the next 2 games, as you said?
Well, that's a great question. I think that, and you probably heard if I could figure that out, I could write a book and I could retire. I think it's just consistency. It's, the message stays the same. You continue to preach the same thing, do the same thing. Nothing changes but the day. And, baseball's like oatmeal, or it should be. It's just boring and bland. And if you can do that every single day and do it well, you got a chance to pull through. So I think for me, and in my experience, the best thing to do is that I try not to be any different day one as I am the last day. And I think it takes some time to experience to be able to trust that process. But, the process doesn't change as long as you believe in it.
Ryan Carter's our guest. Colby Community College baseball. The Trojans wrapped up the regular season this past weekend. They go into the postseason with a 14-42 overall record. They'll be on the road taking on Cowley County in the first round of the postseason. I know they're a top 3, and they're usually a pretty good program in the Jayhawk. What's the scout on this year's Cowley team?
Well, that's no joke. They're they're a lot of things. They're really good. They're really talented. They have a lot of history, and they play really good at home. Now, I'll come back to that and say that they're not any better than anybody we played this year, right? We played, Western Oklahoma is like 44-12 in the Division II ranks. Crowder's ranked 8th. Odessa, even though they're a 500 team, are still would be a top 3, program in our conference. And then you got KCK has been ranked. So, I mean, it's not like we're going to go in there and just get blown away. But I think the deal comes down to is they're really good. And is what we need them to be is we need to be great. And we need them just to be good. And if we can do that, we got a chance to upset them. All the pressure's on them. I've known their coaching staff for a long time. There's a lot of mutual respect there. And our guys are going to fight and they're going to play hard. And so the goal is if Cali's going to beat us, we want them to play their very best if they have to beat us. I don't want them to beat us on an average day. I want them to have to beat us with their very best day.
What is the message to a team? Because I'm sure you've been in these situations before where you're going to be the underdog in this situation. What's the message to the guys, before you head out there tomorrow for game 1?
Well, I use it. You're in Vegas and somebody gives you $5,000 of house money, double down and get after it, right? It's house money. We got nothing to lose. So we're gonna maybe take a few chances. We're gonna play aggressive. We're gonna have fun. And I've been in Cali's shoes as well. There was several years ago. We were the 1 seed, and it's 2016, I believe. And Coffeyville came in and upset us. And it's not a good feeling, right? It's really hard to play with a target on your back all the time. And obviously Cali's been there for a long time, so they're a little bit used to it. But nonetheless, it's just I think that my message goes deeper than baseball. It's just I just try to tell our guys, like, tomorrow's not guaranteed to anybody. So, let's go out and really be where our feet are in this moment and enjoy the highs and lows and just really feel the moment, right? The emotions of the moment, just really feel it so that it's something that you can take with you the rest of your life.
Ryan Carter's our guest, Colby Community College Baseball. I've covered baseball games out here in Western Kansas. I've seen teams in the postseason go in with, 4, 5, 6 wins total on the regular season. They're the teams that end up making a deep run. What is it about the game of baseball that just allows that to happen from time to time?
Well, it's confidence. It really is. Once you get confidence, it is really easy to keep rolling. And once you lose confidence, it's really easy to go the other direction. And so that's why when you look in, for example, professional sports, the team that usually gets the bye usually has a hard time picking back up their momentum. And those teams that have to fight their way through at the end of the year, and then, the buy-in game and so on and so forth, right? The more you play, especially with the hitters, the more you hit, the hotter you get. So it really just it's a momentum thing, but it's a confidence, right? That one hit leads to another, that one great play leads to another, and then for a short period of time, you're invincible. And when that happens, great things can happen. And then, and which on the flip side, it gives you so much more respect for those teams. Dare I say the Chiefs and the Patriots, or even, my team, the Dodgers, right? When just year in and year out, and you can argue with the Dodgers in the playoffs, but you can't argue with 15 NL West championships. But at the end of the day, it's those teams that can do it all the time. They're a special kind of leadership, and they're a special kind of team, because it is really hard in athletics to be on top of your game all the time when everybody's gunning for you.
Well, I'll leave that Dodger comment and just say if they have that kind of payroll, they need to be 15-0 with that kind of payroll they have there in LA. That's coming from a disgruntled other
payroll, but they're not.
Just a disgruntled NL West fan of another team. Nonetheless, Ryan Carter's our guest here on the Morning Blitz. One more thing, Coach, before we get you out of here and get a couple final questions, but can you talk to me about the special season that Carter, I think it's Roth, has had this season for you guys?
It's unbelievable. It's a great story. Not a lot of guys know this story. That kid, redshirt, 3 years ago, he sold his car to bet on himself and come to Colby as a walk-on, as a walk-on kid from Ontario, Canada. And he redshirted, and the phrase "work while you wait" embodies that kid. He worked and he worked, and he earned a scholarship for his freshman year last year. And he was good, but he wasn't great. And he just kept working. And it's so cool when you see great things happen to fantastic human beings. It really is what kind of drives you in this business and to do this job. But he's had, he's just always getting the barrel to the ball. And 92 hits. I don't care how many are ugly or how many are pretty. 92 hits in this conference with our schedule is something special. And now it might be done again, but I don't know. It is really, really hard to play the schedule that we had, especially when there's no protection in the lineup really for him. And it's just really special what he's done. It's unbelievable, and it couldn't happen to a better human being. And he deserves it all.
Coach, you're selling him short. He has 94 hits.
Oh, 94. Yeah,
don't sell him short. Don't sell him short. 94.
He's a couple 3 for 3s and get to the mythical 100 hit mark, which is still that's like the unicorn. It doesn't happen very often.
That would be unbelievable. Well, Coach, we really do appreciate you taking some time this morning. Sorry for the late entrance there, but thanks for squeezing in. Good luck to you and the boys down there in Arc City here this weekend.
We sure appreciate it. Maybe Shohei will buy the Rockies and turn them around.
Thanks. Appreciate the time, Coach. We'll talk to you soon.
You got it. Have a great day.
Yeah, you too. Once again. Oh, that's great. Shohei buying the Rockies. Does he get to play for the Rockies? That'd be great. Shohei in altitude would be awesome. That'd be great. Think about where he'd put that ball in the rooftop bar. Oh, that'd be great.
All his translator needs to do is turn those bets around, and maybe he can buy them.
Thank you, man. He was in a good mood this morning. He was fired up. By the way, for people who don't know the story of Carter Roth, I did not know about this card, but his stats are ridiculous. Here's the stat line. The sophomore infielder has 94 hits in 211 at bats, 50 RBIs. This is where it gets ridiculous. 12 walks, 10 strikeouts. 10 times the man has been sat down on strikes. That is nuts. 10 strike. I mean, that's almost about as unicornish. That's a made up word. Unicornish as the 100 hit mark.
Oh, yeah.
Get struck out 10 times in a season where you play 50 plus games. That's nuts. Absolutely nuts. Hitting 445 this year. If he's not a first team all guy, I don't know what in the world is. What a season for Carter Roth. And to hear that story about how he got here, selling his car and betting on himself. What a great story. That's like he said, that's the reason that you get into coach. That's the reason you get into coach. That's the reason you're in sports, is for those great stories. What a great story for Carter Roth. Nuts. And like he said, a couple 3 for 3s to get the magical 100 hit mark possibly this weekend. We'll see. That'd be nuts. I think it'll be a stretch, but still, you can't take it away. 94 hits this year. That's absolutely crazy. All right. We're going to get to a break. Come back with the walk-off next here on a Wednesday. It's been the Blitz.
Right now at Hurl Chevrolet GMC, it's truck season, where you can get $5,000 total allowance on a 2024 Silverado 1500 Crew Cab LTZ or High Country when you trade in an eligible vehicle, or 2.9% APR for 72 months. Or get a 2024 GMC Sierra with Turbo Max or 5.3-liter engine at 2.9% APR for 72 months. Truck season is going on now at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas, online at hurlchev.com.
Midwest Energy's HouseSmart program is the easy way to make improvements to your home, like new heating and AC, insulation, and air sealing. With HouseSmart, a certified auditor does a top-to-bottom review of your home, suggesting improvements. You pick an approved contractor to make upgrades, and we pay up to 100% of the costs. Payback is made through savings on your energy bill. Learn more at mwenergy.com. Midwest Energy, a customer-owned cooperative making energy work for you.
Your livelihood is important to you. You work hard to succeed in your farming operation, crop, livestock, home, vehicles, and special needs. We have you covered. Discounts are available for new business, remodeling, hail-resistive roofing, multi-policy, and many more. Optional coverage endorsements as well for machinery ingestion and equipment breakdown. Umbrella coverage for additional coverage on your home, farm, and auto. See the girls at the insurance agency at 1020 Main in Goodland or call 785-899-5011.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
You're tuned in to the Morning Blitz.
All they do is sit around and talk.
On 102.5 You Rock and the Rocking M app.
Real quickly, before we get to the walk-off, I just got to throw more dirt on Coach Carter's Dodgers here. So last night, they're taking on the Marlins. They're leading into that first pitch, at home here. And so they've got Yoshinobu Yamamoto. He's kind of their guy they got over from Japan this year. And anyway, and the guy who's the color commentators is like, well, he says, quote, "Don't take this the wrong way, but we are already on a no-hitter alert." And he said this before he even threw a first pitch. What happened the first pitch he threw? That would be that somebody took him deep. Jazz Chisholm took him deep on the very first pitch. That, my friends, did not age well at all. Anyway, I just have to throw dirt on them because it's jealousy. I'm just jealous of the Dodgers and all that money that they can spend all the time. So anyway, let's get to the walk-off.
A three-run walk-off home run. A game-winning walk-off with a walk-off. His second walk-off hit of the season. In walk-off fashion. That baby's go.
Well, Christian, I apologize for stinking up the show today. You had a great show going all week, and I stunk it up, so I apologize for that, friend. We'll hopefully be better tomorrow. Christian didn't turn his mic on, I don't think. I don't know, it's off.
No, Christian did not.
Welcome!
Indicative of the day. Yeah, I'm sure it did not smell as bad as the bed sheets of Mr. Volkmer this morning. So we won't complain about anything.
Yeah, not great. Quick NBA update last night. Lopsided wins for the Celtics and for the OKC Thunder. Boy, goodness. Of the Thunder and the T-Wolves, who have been more impressive?
Thunder and the T-Wolves? The T-Wolves, for sure. Just because you almost go in and the Thunder have been a little bit more under the radar, but you do expect them to be this successful as the 1 seed and as a team that has so many hoopers. Not that you didn't expect Minnesota to do this, but up 2-0 on Denver, 2 wins in Denver, nobody expected that. That's definitely more surprising, more impressive.
We'll get more on that on Friday for sure when Game 3 is set to be played. Colorado basketball adding a new assistant coach, Tad Boyle, who I think has done a great job at Colorado, adding Danny Manning. That's right, KU great Danny Manning. They played together in the 84-85 season with the Jayhawks. They are going to coach together at CU as Colorado heads back to the Big 12, which I find fascinating that he brings on. What a great addition to his staff. For Christian, I'm Ross. Thanks for listening. We're back in tomorrow. We'll see you. It's been the Blitz.